Hey, it's Bill here. I know I've been doing a lot of videos on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've got a break, All-Star break. I get a little bit of a reprieve of, well, I do enjoy watching Leaf games, so it's not really a reprieve, but there's a little break in between. And as the darts season is about to start up, I know it's started, but I don't really consider the Bahrain Darts Masters and the Toto Dutch Darts Masters as a real start to a season. As the 128 tour card holders start with the Player Championship February 12th. I know the Masters is this weekend. I'll do a little video on some bets that I'm going to do for the Masters. But the actual Premier League starts tomorrow. I'll talk about Premier League. I'm not going to do any betting on Premier League. Get into my thoughts on that in just a second. But the actual, what I consider to be the start of the season, would be the February 12th and 13th first floor tournament Players Championship. Then from then on, it gets busy through the UK Open, through the match play, through that. So I'll give a little bit of thoughts on the 31 new tour holders, how I think they're going to do, people that I think are going to lose their tour cards, and then some general observations about the stats and how they would be set up. But I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the video on the particular, well, two items I'm going to spend the time on, but the majority of my time is going to be on the European Tour and the new rule change, which basically, let's call the rule change what it is. How do we get Nathan Aspinall and Peter Wright into the tournament every single time? Rule. So, and again, I get it. I'm not an idiot. Nathan Aspinall and Peter Wright, probably more Peter Wright, bring butts into seats, and they sell tickets, and people want to see them. I went to a New York World Darts Masters, and there was obviously a chance that Peter Wright wasn't going to go. I happen to enjoy Peter Wright. He's my favorite dart player, even though he's playing like garbage, lately. But as it was great to meet him. I got to do a meet and greet, plus see him in the tournament, although he lost in the first round to Jeff Smith. Again, you want to see those players. I get it. I get why the European tours want to bring Peter Wright, because merchandise sales, everything goes up because he's there. Okay, if I take a look at the order of merit, so there's different orders of merit. There's your order of merit, which is all ranking tournaments, which includes TV, big ones. And there's your Pro Tour order of merit, which is your floor tournaments in your European Tour. So the new rule change, before the rule change, it was the 16 Pro Tour, which means your floor tournament and European Tour, the top 16 ranked, meaning they've won the most money in the calendar year on the floor tournament and the European Tour. The top 16 qualify and get seeds into the tournament. Then there's 24 spots for qualification, which is done on a floor tournament. Typically now it's the day after the Pro Tours. It used to be the day before. And then you've got, I think it was 6 qualifier, Eastern European qualifier, host nation qualifier. There's 4, maybe Western Europe qualification. And then usually most of the tournaments are in Germany. So the top 2 ranked German players on tour get in, which I always thought was ludicrous. But I got it, because you want to have at least some German players playing in the tournament that have a chance of going far. Although other than Max Hopp, none of them have done anything. All right. So you've got that as a rule. Now, again, I question where this PDPA, apparently they've got a Players Darts Player Association, which you pay money for. That's taking money and pissing it down the floor is what that is. They do nothing. I know Glenn Durant's joined. Maybe it changes, but it's a disgrace, because they really look after the top 32 players. They don't look after the 128. Now, let me get into what the rule change is. So, not only are they keeping the PDC Pro Tour, so the Pro Tour stays the same. The top 16 on the Pro Tour are seeded and go in on the Saturday. However, the order of merit, which is the larger with every tournament, including the TV tournaments, the top 16 in those also qualify. And if they also qualify for the Pro Tour order of merit, they play on the Saturday, and the ones that are in the order of merit, see, it's confusing me. That's how stupid the rule is. 16 that aren't on the Pro Tour 16, which are some of them, we can go through them, will have to play on the Friday in a draw. Then they've got the rule, if you're in that 32, and you lose your first round game, you get the money, but it doesn't count against your rankings. So what does that do? That takes the 24 qualifying positions and reduces that to 10. Also, what that does is makes it much more challenging for someone who's not in the top 32 or the not top 16 tour and order of merit ranking, and says it's going to make it more challenging to get into the European Tour, where you earn money for your Pro Tour order of merit. Okay, this is where, I get let me go. There's a solution to this that doesn't take a brainwave. That is just plainly stupid. And let me explain to you why it's stupid. There is a better solution. There's a solution in the middle here. It's a really easy solution. Obviously, the European Tour has said, I need the Peter Wrights, the Nathan Aspinalls in this tournament. They draw for me. There's a couple other players, but really those are the players that are. There's a couple other that are outside of the top 16, but are on the order of 6 or the full tour order, but on the Pro Tour, they're not in the top 16. So if I go there, you got Nathan Aspinall, Peter Wright, Joe Cullen, Dimitri Vandenberg, Chris Dobie, and Stephen Bunting. Now, Stephen Bunting is 16th on the order of merit. He's 17th on the Pro Tour. So you get those players, okay? There is a solution to this that is so easy. Instead of going the top 16 Pro Tour order of merit, and again, I say Pro Tour, not the top 16 of players ranked, the top 16 Pro Tour, you send that down to 24. So basically, you're taking 8 more spots off the Pro Tour. Those 16 get seeded, go to Saturday. The ones below go to the Friday. And therefore, you have 18 qualifying spots. So you go from 24. You have 16, you add 8, you take away 8. So I think I did my math wrong. But instead of having the 24 spots open, you take 8 off, you got 16 spots open instead of 10. That would include everyone in the order, or the full order of merit, except for Dimitri Vandenberg and Chris Dobie. So Dimitri Vandenberg and Chris Dobie are in the top 16 ranked players, but are not in the Pro Tour top 16. They're not in the Pro Tour top 24. They're below the top 24. Aspinall's 24th. Wright is 19th. Cullen is 18th. Bunting is 17th. You get 14 of the top 16 ranked players in the tournament, and you still allow more qualifying spots to give the opportunity for the lower ranked players to qualify for tournaments and build up their Pro Tour order of merit. It is not a brainwave to do that. It doesn't take a lot. What they've done is guaranteed players that they're going to be ranked for the entire year. Peter Wright is not going to get out of the top 16. The closest opportunity that he can get out of the top 16 is the World Grand Prix. Basically, all the European tournaments are done before the Grand Prix or Grand Prix. He gets to go to every tournament. Nathan Aspinall gets to go to every tournament. It doesn't matter about the Grand Prix. He even plays in every European tour. Those players now don't have to go to the floor tournaments. If you make it the top 24, you still make the best players of the world go to the floor tournaments. Because they have to be in the top 24. What's the carrot for Peter Wright shows up and wins 2 rounds or wins a round every time he's there? He's going to have enough money to stay in the top 16, and he'll qualify next year for European tours. How is a person who's below, other than the Pro Tour order of merit, but to get the Pro Tour order of merit, you got to get in the European tours. The floor tournaments don't give as much money as the European Tour. I don't understand. Think as a business. I don't understand it's not that tough. I don't know. Matt Porter's got a we'll talk about the Premier League here, but it's not that tough. Go to the 24. Do you think people are going to miss Dimitri Vandenberg and Chris Dobie? No. Now, I know there's a love affair of Chris Dobie. I don't personally get it. There's a love affair of Joe Cullen. I don't personally get it. But let's be fair here. If Chris Dobie was such a great player and should have been in the Premier League, why the hell is he less than 24th on the Pro Tour? That means he had a horrible season on the floor and in the Europeans. What's the love affair with this guy? I get asked what's the love affair of Peter Wright right now because he's playing horrible darts. That's going to be a good question. But you at least get Peter Wright. Peter Wright he's been in 100 European tours. People in Germany love him. You get why they want him to be there. Nathan Aspinall's top 4 in the world. I get you want him in the tournament. Those guys won majors. Peter Wright won European major. You probably want him in the European tour. And Nathan Aspinall won the match play. He should be in the European tour. Get it down to the top 24 Pro Tour, and you've done it. Doing this 32, we're going to have people guaranteed with the following names. Andrew Gilding, Daryl Gurney, James Wade. Who's paying to see these guys? They shouldn't. So basically, I'll say this. If you did the top 24 Pro Tour, Schindler, Gilding, Gurney, and Wade would be there already. But the following players won't. John Van Veen, although he's probably going to get there just on his Pro Tour. Ryan Joyce, Gabriel Clemens, Jose de Souza, Brandon Dolan, and Raymond Van Barneveld. Now, Raymond Van Barneveld, I get. He's the last number here that qualifies for the first 2 Europeans. He would bring in some butts and seats. You're telling me Brandon Dolan, Jose de Souza, Gabriel Clemens, and Ryan Joyce are going to bring in bums and seats? Maybe for me, I enjoy watching darts, but not for your casual darts fan. Top 24, those guys don't qualify. They'd have to qualify through the regular tour, which gives more opportunity. It gives you 8 more spots. So instead of taking the 32, take 24. Just stupid. Really bothers me. And I hear the top 16 players are saying, oh, tough break, go win your things. I had to do a win my things. Yeah, that's really nice and all. But the top 16 are treated like little princesses, and none of them show up for the floor tournaments. Because why would they? What's the incentive to show up to a floor tournament? Just to dominate the European tour? I'm good. Don't you want to have competition? It makes no sense. Top 24 Pro Tour Order of Merit forces the big players to play on the floor tournaments. Isn't that what you want in a competitive league? I don't know about other leagues, but it's not like you get your best players can take a couple games off. Maybe the NBA, because it's BS as well. Horrible, horrible decision. Why couldn't they have just gone to the top 24? Where is the PDPA, the Players Darts Union? As long as the top 16 players are taken care of, hey, we're all good? There's another 114 or 112 players. Don't you have to think about all those players? Don't they pay the same dues? If I'm in the 112, I'm going crazy. I'm rebelling. Well, because the top 16 are taken care of, then that sounds like you got a real big problem. Last time I checked, if you have a union, no, trust me, I'm not a union guy. I'm not a big fan of unions. But the last time I checked, if there is a union, which that appears to be a union, that you would make sure that you take care of all the players. So couldn't you have come together and presented, hey, instead of doing top and make it so confusing, top 16 Order of Merit and then top 16 Pro Tour, and then we'll figure out who's in there, because the top 16, some of them are in this list. It's a joke. Just go to top 24. Bozos. So the players that are going to benefit from this are Aspinall, Cullen, Wright, Dimitri Vandenberg, Chris Dobie. They're not even in the top 24. At least Dimitri Vandenberg's close. Dobie's not even close. Dobie's under RVB. And then you've got other players like Schindler, Gilding, Gurney, Wade, Van Veen, Joyce, Clemens, De Souza, Dolan, RVB. They get to go to these tournaments. it's ridiculous. And to make the change and then implement it immediately, that's the only reason they made this change is because some of the top guys are not in the Pro 16 Tour. If you're telling me if Wright and Aspinall were in the Pro Tour top 16, they would have still made this rule? Bull crap. Bull crap. My initials. BS. You made the rule. I'm going to call it the Nathan Aspinall, Peter Wright rule. Terrible. Also, the Premier League starts tomorrow, and it's the same format as every year. The only thing going for it is you get Luke Littler. Okay, that's going to get dry in a hurry as well. Again, the thinking behind it, I get for maybe the fans get to see a winner, but who on TV is going to care? Seeing the same players, we've seen it for 2 straight years, and it's honestly the first year you give it a try. I thought it was boring as hell after the first couple weeks. This will be boring as hell. I'll wait till I'll probably watch it, but I can't imagine it's going to be exciting. I'll wait till the Premier League final and then watch the games. Anyways, I'll give you my predictions on how they're going to do. I've got a list here. Let me make sure I got it correct. Nathan Aspinall, Rob Cross, Luke Humphries, Luke Littler, Gerwin Price, Michael Smith, Michael Van Gerwen, and Peter Wright. So of the ones that you see, you've got basically 3 new players. You've got Rob Cross, who's been in the Premier League before but wasn't in last year, Luke Humphries, who's never been in the Premier League, and Luke Littler, who's never been in the Premier League. So you've taken the 8 players from last year. You've minused Dimitri Vandenberg, Chris Dobie. I can't even remember the other person. That shows you how important it was. Johnny Clayton, sorry. You've taken those 3 out, and you put 3 new ones in. Here's how I think the order will go. I think MVG will finish first in the league. I think Luke Humphries will be second. I think Rob Cross is the one you got to worry about. He's a consistent player all the time. I have no idea how he lost to Raymond van Barneveld in the last Dutch Masters, but he did. But he's been really, really good. I think he's going to want to show, considering he's been out for a while. I like him for 3rd. I like Luke Littler for 4th. I don't think Luke Littler will be at the top. It's going to be too much time on his hands. I think he's going to start off like a gang on fire. But I think he's going to start the travel's going to get to him because he's going to be doing a lot of traveling that he hasn't done before. I like him to still make the playoffs, though. I like him to finish 4th. In 5th position, I'm going to go Michael Smith. In the 5th position. 6th position, I'm going to go Gerwin Price. I don't think he'll have a good week in Cardiff, but I don't see him doing anything post that. 7th, Nathan Aspinall, and 8th, Peter Wright. I think Peter Wright's going to have, we'll see if he stays with the same darts. My guess is week 2 he will not. And then anyway, so that's my bet. And then for me, I think it's either Luke Humphries or MVG that win the whole thing. So again, I don't think it's going to be that exciting. Even when you look at the first week, you pretty much, maybe the Luke Littler, Luke Humphries game might be a bit exciting. You got Price against Aspinall. I think that's Price all the way. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of excitement in the Premier League. And again, down to the rule changes. But my focus, rule change on the European Tour, absolute disaster in my opinion. Could have been done way better, and you still get Peter Wright and Nathan Aspinall into the tournament. And Joe Cullen. Why wouldn't you do that? You would get 14 of the 16 players in the top 16 into the tournament if you just made it the round of 24 or the top 24 Pro Tour Order of Merit, which would allow 8 more spots for people to qualify to make their ratings go up. Makes sense. That's why the PDC don't do it.